What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight Season 17 Reunion Part 2. So I had started this review actually right after I watched the show Wednesday night, but because my review was so it was just too much of a hateful rant because I was so angry and frustrated with these people. I was like, I can't post this. This is crazy. I look like a lunatic. So I decided to just sleep on it. Hopefully, the new day was going to relax me and calm me down and just make this show not that as important. Like right after you watch it, you're so hyped up. So now it's been about 24 hours or so and I'm a lot more relaxed and I care a whole lot less. So hopefully this doesn't turn into some crazy, hateful, unhinged rant. So let's start off with Emily and Brennan. So they're on stage with Kevin Frazier, and Emily brings up these rumors about Brennan wanting to hook up either with her friends or with Claire's friends. I don't know which friends it is because Claire and Emily, to me, they're so intertwined and intermingled with their evil ways that I can't differentiate the two on who did what or who said what. So she talks about these rumors about Brennan wanting to hook up with her friends or Claire's friends. And Brennan says, well, if you thought that there was any legitimacy into these rumors, then why didn't you confront me with it? I don't know if she had an answer to that. It doesn't even really matter if she had an answer to that, because something like that, I think, definitely would have been brought up on camera during the season if she really did believe that he was trying to hook up with any of her friends or any other cast members' friends, because she had no problem, her and Claire had no problem talking about this whole double date nonsense. They would have definitely have brought up that, Brennan was trying to talk to other people or trying to have sex with other people that they knew especially. So she says she had receipts for this. I'm still waiting. I don't know. She never brought them up. Emily didn't believe that Brennan was not attracted to her because she said that during the honeymoon, they did make out a whole bunch of times. And so she doesn't believe that Brennan was not attracted to her. So this is where, I kind of feel sorry for Emily, because she's so delusional into thinking that a man who clearly showed signs that he had no attraction and no interest in her, it was so obvious to the whole wide world that he was over her. He was done with her. But in her mind, she still believes that he wanted her and that he was attracted to her because they made out a couple of times during their honeymoon. Emily is just way too experienced to not know that people can make out with one another. It doesn't really mean much of anything, especially if it's everyone is just out having a good time. Maybe some alcohol is involved. Things will happen you can't put a lot of meaning behind it, but she still believes that Brandon is attracted to her. She said that, okay, it wasn't just a couple of times. She actually said they made out every day during the honeymoon, and Brennan vehemently denied this. Brennan was saying that we made out only once. Brennan said that he tried to leave several times, but he didn't. And at this particular point, Emily said that she is not dating anybody when the question comes up. Brennan says that he is dating someone. He's in a happy relationship. Emily said that she hopes she finds Brennan's girlfriend so that she can warn her. This is what I can't stand about people when relationships don't work out. I understand that Brennan was not that great of a husband to her. I mean, there are some things that he did to her that I think were kind of mean and uncalled for. But for her to still have this vengeful spirit in her to want to, destroy his relationship or try to expose them for whoever she thinks he might be, and trying to, just be after him and get at him and get back at him. This is just showing that she had a lot of feelings for this man, that she had a lot of expectations for their relationship, and that she's not over the fact that he's over her. And she's extremely hurt that this man did not want her, that this man embarrassed her on television, that this man showed absolutely no interest in her at all. She's extremely hurt, and the hurt is manifesting into anger and vengefulness. And this kind of stuff will tear you up. It will destroy you. It'll make you an extremely bitter person. You will overlook the blessings that God is trying to give to you if you believe in that, or the universe is trying to bestow on you. You'll completely overlook any positive thing that's coming your way because you're so focused and you're so hell bent on coming after this person and trying to make them as miserable as you are. So it's just really sad that it's come to this, especially with someone that she knew for, barely 2 months. After Kevin Frazier tried to end their segment and, move on to other things, they kept on arguing. Brennan and Emily kept on arguing. They kept on going back and forth. And a couple of kids, they were like children. How they just couldn't let it go. Like they were constantly picking at each other and arguing. Brennan also is one of those, I don't think he has necessarily a vengeful spirit, but he's so obsessed with how he comes across on camera that anything that Emily says, he feels like he has to counter argue that. He has to give his counterpoints to that. He has to defend himself and argue against her, not even realizing that the things that she's saying about him are so off the wall and ridiculous. Probably the majority of the people watching don't even believe her. The only one who's taking her seriously is him. So, that also sorry, y'all, my nose is so itchy. Every time I film, it's like it got to the point where, it's like if he would just only stop and actually listen to what she was saying, he'd be able to just kind of laugh it off and not really respond or say anything at all. That's another reason why I like Cameron so much more than Brennan and Austin, because the things that Claire was accusing him of were pretty bad. And he was just like, it's not true, so I'm not going to give it any energy. He really wasn't trying, well, he couldn't because of his health, but he really wasn't trying to go toe to toe with her with every single thing that she slewed at him. He wasn't even trying to argue back. He was just like, okay, if that's what you think and if that's what you believe, that's fine. Then they had the segment where all the guys came out on stage, and Austin was not there because he got sick. I realized that throughout the whole entire reunion, parts 1 and 2, Austin didn't say much. He really wasn't saying much. And I wonder if it's because, and he had one of the biggest moments during the season when Becca was implying that there was something nefarious going on between him and the producer. And you would think that that would have taken up a good chunk of the reunion, but it absolutely didn't. Austin really didn't talk too much. And I kind of wonder, maybe he wasn't feeling well the whole entire time, because when the men all came out on stage, he was having stomach issues. And so he couldn't even come back on stage. I thought he had gone home for good, but we ended up seeing him later on. I thought he left for good because he really wasn't feeling well. I'm wondering if just the pressure and the stress of being on this show and all the crap that they all went through is affecting his health. Brennan believed he should have been more transparent about the issues in his marriage. All of them basically had regrets that they weren't more honest about what was going on in their marriages, that it was a bad idea to try to present that everything was fine in their marriages, or trying to, just all the fakeness that they did on camera. All of them basically were like, yeah, it really wasn't a good idea, and it did backfire on us. Cameron said that his heart condition was entirely stress induced, and this is the reason why I want to live a stress-free life. There's enough things that are affecting us that we don't need stress to add on to it. We have, pollution and, things that are genetic and things that we consume that will have negative impacts on our health. If I can control one thing, I need to control the stress level. And so Cameron is proof that stress can lead to some crazy things, because he is a young guy, for all intents and purposes, he appears to be pretty healthy, but then he has this heart condition that affected him. So, and he claims that it was all because of stress. It doesn't make any sense. It's horrible. Stress is real, y'all. Stress is real. They talk about the girls insinuated he was just looking for. So I guess there was this insinuation or this, belief amongst the women that he was faking his illness or something. Like he was using his heart condition to get out of being on the show or to get out of being married to Claire. I don't know. I thought if Cameron was faking the funk with his health, and he didn't have a heart condition, then that's the lowest of the low right there. That's going to extremely low. Like if he was exaggerating how bad it actually was in order to get out of filming or whatever he was trying to do, that would be the ultimate low, to do that. I personally don't think he was faking it. I think that he really was in bad health. I think that he really was having issues. I don't know who, we will never know unless, obviously we look into his medical report, which will never happen. So who the hell knows? But if I have to venture out and pick a side, I'm going to pick the side that he was not faking how bad his heart condition was. After their segment, Cameron was not doing well at all. After the guys got off the stage, he really wasn't doing well, and he ended up like taking a break or something. I thought he had left for good too, but he came back later. But he ended up taking a break. So they bring everybody back on stage except for Austin and Cameron. Michael thanked Chloe for I forgot what it was exactly for her. I don't know if it was for her, like, speaking her truth or acknowledging. I don't know what he thanked her for. He thanked her for something. And he also ended up apologizing to Chloe for, his part in the demise of their marriage. So he apologized to her. He thanked her. And it was almost as if, like, they were trying to achieve some type of closure in their relationship. Brennan wants to take responsibility for not exposing his full truth. He brings it up again, how sorry he was that he wasn't more honest on camera. And Emily said that she didn't believe him. He did apologize, I think, to Emily about not being his true authentic self, because at the end it did, obviously it cheated her out of a real experience of this process. She had to put up with him being really concerned about his image and wanting to, create this false narrative of exactly who he was and what was really going on between them, which cheated her out of, this experience. So he apologized to her about that. She said that the apology was fake and she was not going to accept it. Brennan called her toxic because when she was like, you know what, I don't believe you, so I'm not accepting your apology. He was like, this is the kind of toxic behavior I was talking about during the season. Claire blamed Cameron once again for masterminding this whole entire plot of let's lie on camera, let's be fake on camera. She once again blames it all on Cameron. I don't believe Claire. I don't believe anything that comes out of Claire's mouth. To me, Claire is a liar through and through. She is deceptive. She's extremely manipulative. I don't believe anything that comes out of that woman's mouth. Okay, I don't believe it. Claire can come up to me and tell me what my legal name is, and I'm not going to believe her. Okay, I don't believe anything that comes out of Claire's mouth. So for her to blame everything on Cameron, I don't think so. Cameron was not perfect. None of them were. Nothing about But there's nothing about Cameron to me that just screams out manipulation and deceit and fraud. I don't know what he would have gained out of it, because she's the one rumored to have a boyfriend throughout. She's the one that has a boyfriend now, right after the season wrapped. So I don't know what Cameron would have gained because I don't think Cameron even cared about how he looked on camera. It wasn't as evident as it was with Brennan. And it wasn't as evident as it was in Claire. I think Claire cared a lot about how she looked on camera because, she's going to be a future psychologist or a therapist or whatever. So her personality, her truthfulness, all of that goes into, people, what am I trying to say? How she comes off as a person on this show, it could affect her career. It could affect her career. So I can see her being concerned about her image. I can see her being concerned about how she's behaving in her marriage, because I don't know if she's going to be a family therapist or a marriage counselor or what the hell she's going to be. But whatever it is she's going to try to help people and help other people reach their truths. So what is it going to say about her as a therapist if she was being fraudulent and fake in a marriage, which is a real marriage? Like, how is that going to affect her career? How are people going to take her seriously if they watch this show and they think that she is manipulative and that she is a liar? it's not going to go well for her. So she has a lot more to lose on how her, depending on her image than Cameron does. Cameron fixes bikes. Okay. He fixes bikes. So I don't see him being super duper or overly concerned with how he comes across on camera and being so controlling on how things are presented to the people as much as I would think Claire would be. So I don't believe her when she says that Cameron masterminded this whole thing. I think that's 100% lie. She's trying to manipulate the people, and it's just sad that she has to go that far. Where am I here? Emily wanted Kevin to show more grace to Claire, which I don't know why she said it at that moment. So Claire said, that she's blamed Cameron for masterminding this whole thing. I don't remember what Kevin Frazier said or what his response was. Whatever it wasn't adequate. I think he was just like, okay, if that's what you believe, then that's fine. Emily, whatever his response was, it wasn't adequate enough for Emily. And Emily was like, why don't you believe her? Why don't you show her more grace? Like, what is wrong with Emily, with her attacking hosts? She attacked Keisha Knight Poliam. She's attacked Kevin Frazier several times. What is wrong with her? Girl, get your own show, ask your own questions, and do your own thing if you don't like how these professionals are conducting the show. Like, it was just so rude and out of place, and it made her look extremely wacky and just crazy, to try to challenge the host when he didn't even do anything wrong. That was insane that she did that. Talking about, why don't you show her more grace? Grace for what? She's a liar and she's fraudulent. She tried to say that, he kept on digging and digging and digging, like putting Claire on the spot and trying to get more and more and more information from her or from them as a whole. I don't know. Kevin Frazier told her that she disrespected the show, the audience, and the people who work for the show by participating in this collusion to present false stories and false whatever. Well, let's talk about that. Let's not talk about whether or not he's showing enough grace to your co-conspirator. Let's talk about the fact that all of y'all, except for Michael and Chloe and Lauren, all of y'all were involved in defrauding the public and manipulating the audience. All of y'all were involved in that. And the people that were there, I don't know if the producers were, I don't know, because you hear a lot of stories about reality TV and how scripted it is and how fake and forced it is. And producers have a lot to do with what we're seeing. So, and the producers are with them quite a bit. So I just find it kind of hard to believe that no producer had any idea with what was going on and didn't want to stop it. I don't believe it. Okay, but it was very disrespectful to the process, the purpose of the show, and to the audience. So she needs to take accountability for that, which I don't think Emily really truly did. Brennan said when he first met Emily, he felt really positive about her. He was digging her. He was liking her, thought she was cute, funny, outgoing. And he says 1 hour later, 1 hour after meeting her, her friends told him that she gets ghosted all the time. She loves one night stands and that she's selfish. Let's talk about that. If my nose can stop itching. So I remember I think it was like everything leading up to the wedding and at the wedding, I felt like Claire's friends were weird. They did not seem like her true friends. I literally thought that she just gathered up some girls that she kind of sort of knew, and some of them may have been her enemies, and probably encouraged them to come on the show and to act like her friends, because those friends to me did not seem like they had her best interest at heart. They were really like expressing a lot of doubt about like, why would you want to do this? Why do you want to be married? You've never been in a relationship before. They were saying things that to me was very suspect, as far as like, are they really her friends? Do these people really like her? Like, I felt like they didn't like her. I felt that all the way up from when we first met them up until the day of the wedding, it seemed like they did not like her. And I didn't understand what these women were doing there and why they were trying to present themselves as Emily's friends. And if Brennan said that they told him this, I kind of believe that. I 80% believe that somebody in her friend group told him that she gets ghosted all the time, she loves one night stands, and that she's selfish. Now, I remember reading on Reddit that, the reason why Brennan was so turned off by her was because he heard these rumors about her sleeping around in Denver. And I was like, well, how would he have heard that? Like, I didn't understand. Now he explains it. Now I see where he got that information from. Emily didn't believe anyone told him that. Okay, fine, girl. Those girls were not your friends. Okay, I don't know what they told him exactly, but it wasn't in your best interest. It wasn't trying to paint you in the best light possible. Brennan chose to lie through it all. Okay, we know that. Emily started to cry and said that he should have been honest from the beginning. Now, when she cried about that, him not being honest from the beginning, I kind of was like, I understood where she was coming from. Because like I said, in the beginning, I felt like Brennan was playing games with her. He wasn't telling her the truth about why he was not interested in her, why he wasn't trying as hard to make the marriage work. It seemed like she was trying to do all of the work and he was barely doing anything at all to better their marriage. It seemed like he had checked out and he was just kind of like just there to be there. And I felt like it was really unfair to her. I was very, very sympathetic towards Emily in the beginning. The time that I turned on Emily, my feelings for her turned was when I saw how vengeful she was and how she was so uber focused on getting back at him, getting back at the guys. And I just felt like that whole demeanor, that whole attitude of like, wanting to destroy people and expose people, I didn't like that at all. He wasn't a good husband to you. He wasn't a good anything to you. It was a horrible, horrible match. The experts messed this one up royally. So just move on. It didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out. I, for one, would not have stayed living with a man that was not attracted to me. I am not going to beg and try to do things to make someone like me, be attracted to me. I'm not going to do that. I would have left the show because I have this thing about not wanting to be embarrassed on national television and to go through constant hurt and pain by living with someone who was showing signs, clear signs, that he wasn't interested in me in that way. I would have left. She decided to stay until the very end for whatever reason, monetary reasons, contractual reasons, whatever it was. She decided to stay until the end. Unless she's an idiot, unless she's absolutely stupid, she knew early on that this man was not interested in her. And she still stayed. Another bone that I have to pick with Brennan was I didn't like his whole hero thing about when she got into her accident, acting like, I saved her life. And, she, I didn't like all of that crap. And him trying to be nice to her and kind of sort of like making her think that things were getting better between them when he knew that he wasn't going to last with this woman. He wasn't going to spend the rest of his life with this woman. That also bothered me about it. But anyway, she should have left. Forget the show, forget the money, break the contract, or whatever the consequence is. I am not going to stay another minute with someone who does not want me. And the experts want me to try to do things to make him want me. That's not going to happen. Moving on to Lauren and Orion. So they talk about when Orion took sex off the table. So they show the clip of that, which was during their honeymoon when Lauren had admitted to him. And she was just trying to be open and transparent and upfront with him and say, yes, I did have sex with someone a couple of months before coming on the show, before even knowing that she got picked. So this was completely a part of her past, had nothing to do with the show. And when she told him that, Orion was like, well, we're not going to have sex now. And so that kind of hurt her feelings because it was kind of like he was judging her, treating her, like she was contaminated or something. Like, he was just too good to be anywhere near her because she had sex with another man months before being on the show. So Orion kind of now at the reunion, he's kind of like backtracking now and backpedaling. He was like, well, I don't know why I would have said that. I see that what I said was wrong. I know that it hurt her feelings. If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have said it like that. I wouldn't have said it at all. So he had a lot of regret about saying what he said. And, too little too late. As far as Lauren is concerned, too little too late. She really didn't care that he had regrets about the way he handled that whole situation. So he does apologize to her. She said that she did believe that his apology was genuine and she did accept it. Orion admitted that he gave up too easily on the process. I don't know what came over Orion, because he like flipped. He kind of came, when he first came on the show, I thought he was going to be like this really peaceful guy, really quiet, not quiet, but just, chill, open-minded, progressive, almost like I want to say like a hippie or something, just someone who was just like, I see the good in all people. I love everybody. I love the earth. I love the sky and the moon. I love it all. And I just want love and happiness and peace for everybody. Let's make this work. I thought that's how he was going to treat the process. But I mean, he came off, she made one little mistake, made a comment that he didn't like, and he flipped the script on her and was calling her all kinds of racist, telling her that she was too ignorant to do her own research about his culture. I mean, he really flipped the script on her. So I don't know why he just like got so upset about something so minor with her that it completely destroyed their marriage. I don't know what happened to Orion, but he said that he gave up too easily on the process. The process and the marriage are two different. Okay, so according to Lauren, because when he said he gave up, he says I gave up on the process, I didn't give up on the marriage. And then Kevin Frazier was like, when you left the process, you left the marriage. And then Lauren said, well, to him, the process, being on the show and being married were two different things, according to Orion. So that's an Orion thing. I don't have enough time or energy to dissect that. Orion also admitted that he was too stubborn. Yes, he was very stubborn. Lauren doesn't care about having a friendship with him. She could care less about being friends with him. She says she wishes him whatever he deserves. I love that saying. She says she wishes him whatever he deserves. Kevin Frazier wanted her to expound on that, and she was like, it's pretty clear. I wish him whatever he deserves. They asked her, are you dating right now? She acted really coy about that. She didn't want to give a straight answer. She said she's in a really happy place right now and just leave it at that. I'm worried, okay, because word on the curb, and from what we saw from the teaser of next week's Where Are They Now episode, they're hinting, and there's rumors that maybe her and Michael got together, hooked up, or got closer in some way. I'm praying to God that that's not true, because as much as I would have wanted to see Michael and Lauren together, it was too late for that. It was too late for that. You can't, I just, no. I hope that's not true. I really hope that's not true. This happened before on Married at First Sight. Don't remember the names, but I think it was the Houston season. I don't remember. I wonder if it was the one with Justin and Alexis. Is that her name? Alexis or Alexa? I don't know if it was that season, but there was some switching of spouses. I don't remember the guy's name. So they had an Asian couple, and they had a couple with, it was a black guy. I forgot his wife's name. I don't think it was that season. I don't know what season it was, y'all, but I don't think it was Houston. I don't know. So they had a couple. It was an Asian couple? And then it was another couple. And then when the season ended, when they did the Where Are They Now episode, the Asian wife and the black guy got together. They were like a couple. It didn't last, but they were a couple. And I just don't like that. I think that's messy. Could that have been the season with, no, it wasn't Justin and Alexis, because they were California. It was a season with, I'll always forget her name. It was a season with, I forgot his name too. He was a firefighter, and he was married to the Hispanic lady. Mora, I think that was her name, Myra or Mora, something like that. And his name was, he was a firefighter, bald-headed, good-looking guy, really muscular. And when they came back to the reunion, he broke her heart, because they said yes on decision day, but then when they came back on the reunion, she had wanted a divorce. So that was interesting. That was really interesting. But anyway, so they had the couples that switched. I don't like that. I said all of that to say this. No, I don't think you should date other spouses from the same show. No, I don't think you should do that. Absolutely not. Y'all, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, and I'm back. You know how it is when your mom is trying to get in contact with you. It's like you think it's an emergency because she's, like constantly calling you or texting you, and then you realize she's just telling me that she's out to eat with her sister-in-law. Okay, moving on. So, like I said, if Lauren and Michael hooked up in any way or got together in any way, I don't co-sign to that. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that's a good idea at all. Even though she may never ever see Chloe again, still, it's just icky. Y'all live in the same city, I believe. It's just really icky. I hope that's not what happened here. Moving on from there, so the experts come out, Dr. Pia, Dr. Pepper, and Pastor Cal. They were obviously very disappointed that the cast were playing these dumb games on camera. The ladies come out to talk to the experts. Becca apologized for, being disingenuous with them, lying to them, not really telling them what was going on with her marriage with Austin, because, Austin was so concerned about optics. And so she did apologize to them for that. They accepted her apology. She blamed her deception on trying to protect Austin. I think that's a weak excuse. I'm sorry. I think it's a weak excuse. I don't think it was protecting Austin. I think that she was doing whatever she could to keep him. I don't think it was protecting him. I think he told her, hey, this is what I'm expecting from you. I expect you to say this, and that about us or about me. Don't make me look crazy out here. Don't make me look bad. Don't make me look like a bad husband. And I think she was doing that because she thought this is what she needed to do to keep him, to keep a man. That's why I think she did it. I don't think she was protecting him. I think she was just really desperate to keep this man in her life. Claire says that she was being forced to lie by Cameron. I'm not even going to waste my time. I don't believe her. She's lying. I don't believe her. Becca said the men wanted to protect their images. I think that Brennan definitely wanted to protect his image. I think Austin wanted to protect his image. I don't think Cameron cared about protecting his image. Claire said that Cameron was the ringleader. That's what she told the experts. I don't believe that because I think she's a pathological liar. Dr. Pepper said that the women have the ability to at least come to them to let them know what was going on. Dr. Pepper told them, y'all are not like a group of, what did she say? I don't know, shrinking violets or something. I don't know. Y'all don't look like, very weak-minded women. You don't look like it's easy to control y'all. Y'all are very strong, educated women, intelligent women. Y'all could have talked to us about it, which I agree with Dr. Pepper. If they didn't want to do it on camera because they're protecting their husbands, then they could have talked to them in private and said, look, there's an issue going on here. This man is making me do and say things I don't feel comfortable doing or saying. Make it stop. But they didn't. They went along with it because for whatever reason. Becca went along with it to keep Austin. I think Emily went along with it to keep Brennan. Claire went along with nothing because it was her idea for her and Cameron to lie on camera. I think she was the one that put him up to it. And another thing that I have to say, I don't think that you can look at this collectively like all the men were manipulating and controlling all the women. It wasn't like that. I think you have to look at each individual relationship separately. Okay. I think when the women got together, they came up with this idea of, oh, so my dude, he wants me to lie to make him look a certain way. Oh, my dude too wants me to lie to make him look a certain way. And then they were like, oh, so let's present this story or this whatever, this idea that we're being controlled by these men. But I don't think it was necessarily like that for all of them. For example, like I said, Claire was not controlled by Cameron. I think that Claire was controlling Cameron. Right? I think she was the one telling Cameron how to act, what to say. She was feeding him a script. Do y'all remember when they all got together for the pizza party towards the end when Becca did that big exposure of, something going on between Austin and the producer? This is when Cameron said it was really Claire telling me how to act and what to say and what to do on camera. She was the one controlling me. And as he was giving his confessional, she was texting him, trying to figure out what was he saying so that she can, mold and sculpt whatever words are coming out of his mouth. And so he's trying to do his interview. He's looking at his phone. He's like, she's texting me right now, wanting to know what I'm saying and what's going on with me. And then they turn the camera to Claire sitting on the couch or the chair, and she's on her phone texting. But you want us to believe that he was controlling you. Okay. So it wasn't like this masterminded plan where Cameron told the other guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to tell the women to do this and say that. It wasn't like that. I think Austin was trying to convince Becca, to filter themselves in front of the cameras. I think that Brennan was trying to control Emily into what she said about him. And I think that, like I said, Claire was really controlling Cameron. What else? Okay, so Chloe spoke up and said that Michael was not a part of the shenanigans. Thank God. So experts are now with the men. So the women leave the stage. The men come on stage with the experts. Dr. Pepper asks how Cameron came up with this mastermind. And Cameron was like, what are you talking about? What mastermind? So he denies it all. He says, no, she's just blaming me, putting on me for the things that she did. What she said I did was actually what she was doing, which I believe. I believe Cameron when he says that. Cameron admits to his part with going into cahoots with Claire to deceive the experts, because I think that Claire was very concerned and worried about how she came across. And I think that she was telling him what to tell the experts. I think that she was controlling as far as what he said in his confessional. I think that she masterminded what was going on in their relationship. And I think she also had a lot to do with the women getting together and, like I said, painting this picture of the men being controlling and all of that. I think that Claire was the one that masterminded that for the women. Cameron apologized to the experts and even started to cry, when he talked about how sorry he was that he lied to them. The men say that the women are blaming them for what the women themselves were doing. Brennan apologized to Dr. Pia. He did admit that when Dr. Pia came for the home visit, he was controlling Emily. And this was kind of like early on when they first moved in together. And every time, Dr. Pia would ask her a question, Brennan would interrupt and either tell Emily, you don't have to answer that, or don't say this, or he was trying to really control what she was saying. And Dr. Pia called him out on it. And then he got really rude with Dr. Pia. I mean, to the point where he was disgusting towards her. He's like, he turned his head away from her, kind of like, I don't see you. I don't hear you. I'm cutting you out. I'm just here talking to Emily. And it was so clear and it was so obvious that he was controlling Emily at that moment. And so he apologized to Dr. Pia for that whole entire fiasco, his behavior, and he apologized profusely. She accepted the apology. She even told him that she was proud that he realized what he was doing was wrong and that he came to that realization, and that he took accountability for his actions. So the final segment, as soon as they all come back together, now they're all there. Cameron is there. Austin is there. Everybody's back on stage with Kevin Frazier. Emily and Claire, they begin intimidating the men. As soon as they all get together, they begin intimidating the men. So they play the clip of Claire telling Emily about the double date, and then, Emily calling up Brennan, letting Brennan know that she heard that he wanted to go on double dates. And Kevin Frazier asked Cameron to explain that whole double date situation. Who said what to whom, when, where, and why. So as Cameron begins to speak, okay, he could barely get a sentence out. Claire brings up something about Brennan wanting to sleep with her best friend, and Emily has a complete meltdown. So as Cameron is answering Kevin's question about the whole double date thing, Claire and Emily, almost on cue, like they planned this, they start with the dramatics. They start crying. Emily puts her head down. In fact, I think because the tears were not, coming out yet. So she puts her head down and kind of like hides her eyes so that we can tell that she's not really crying yet. She hasn't conjured up the tears yet. And, Claire, she's already there. She's already on 10. And she's like, accusing Brennan of wanting to get with her best friend and accusing Cameron of It was just bizarre. And it was so staged and so planned between these two women. It was sad. It was actually sad. It made them look so guilty. And if you had any faith in these women, or if you had if you believed iota of what was coming out of their mouth at that particular moment, you really had to see the truth. You really had to see the light that Claire and Emily were just full of crap, completely full of crap. And they've been full of crap the whole entire season. Claire more so than Emily. So Claire brings up something, like I said, something about Brennan wanting to sleep with her friend. Then she said that Brennan was sleeping with her friend, that he did sleep with her friend. And then Brennan goes, well, which is it? It was Emily that said that. And so then Brennan goes, which is it? Was I wanting to, or did I actually do it? And you even said that you didn't believe those rumors and those rumors weren't true. And then Emily goes, well, it doesn't even matter. Girl, yes, it does. You are committing slander if it's not true. It does matter. You can be legally responsible for these things that you're saying on this stage if they're not true. Oh, he wanted to sleep with her. Oh, he did sleep with her. Oh, it doesn't even really matter. What? Then Lauren begins going in on camera, which I really didn't like. And I was like, Lauren. Like I said in my previous review, I wish that Lauren would have taken more of a neutral stand. Yes, you want to support your girls, that, you know, you've been together since day one and you've created this bond. And I get it. And I think in some areas you can show support for them, but you can't show blind support to these circus animals. You can't just be blindly supporting every little thing that they do and say just because of the fact that, you know, you got hurt by your husband and you're lumping your husband together with everybody else's husband. And it's like, well, if that's how the other wives are going to act, and I need to act like that too. So I wish that Lauren would have just kind of removed herself a tad bit from the Three Musketeers. So she starts going in on Cameron, and, you know, because Cameron is trying to explain the whole double date thing. And, you know, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was something to the effect of like, okay, go ahead with your lies, Cameron, and don't be having that bewildered, confused look on your face. You know exactly what's going on. Ain't nobody buying that. You need to, and I was just like, Lauren, where is this coming from? Where's all this animosity coming from against Cameron? You forgave Orion time and time and time again. Wanted to build this bridge with someone who called you a racist. But then you have all of this anger and all of this fire for Cameron? Okay, I didn't get it. So when any of the guys were trying to talk, the women would cut them off with their hysterics. You know, y'all are just lying. You're lying. No. It was just sad and silly and stupid. Every time Brennan or Cameron tried to talk, Emily and Claire broke down into hysterics and crying and yelling and shouting. And then for whatever reason, Emily storms off the stage. I think it was just part of her act. I don't think she was truly upset about anything. I think she stormed off the stage to distract us from the truth that the men were about to spill. So she storms off, she leaves the stage crying. And when she finally came back, they finally allowed Cameron to explain the whole double date thing. And it was so anticlimactic. Like, why were y'all stopping him from telling this story when the story just really wasn't even that interesting? It wasn't even that interesting. It was like, okay, they were at the bar, they saw some ladies, and one says to the other, hey, when all this is over, let's go on some double dates. Y'all were like putting on this much of a show to prevent him from saying that, because y'all realized that whatever this double date thing, it wasn't going to land the way that y'all wanted it to land with the audience. That the true version, Cameron's version of it, it was just like no big deal. But y'all because when it was brought up during the show, you know, when Claire brought it up to Emily, they both broke down crying and it being really over dramatic. And I guess when Cameron finally said what really happened, it doesn't equate that type of a response from them. You wouldn't think that a story like that would have caused a response like that from Emily and Claire, from the women. So I guess that's why they were trying to cut him off. Kevin Frazier says, if you want to I think he was talking to Emily because, she had stormed off stage and she was hyperventilating and crying and having a major meltdown. And so when she came back, Kevin was like, if you really don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. And Emily got defensive once again with him. And she was like, I'm here. I want to be here. Why wouldn't I want to be here? Something to that effect. Of course, it's not verbatim. She was like very defensive with him, and he was just trying to look out for her. And he told her, hey, I'm looking out for you because it seems like you're struggling. You're having a really hard time. You're getting extremely emotional. You're storming off stage. So something here is really, really affecting you. And if it's too much for you, you don't have to put up with that. You can actually leave. It's okay. And she just didn't get that because she's like hateful and vengeful. Like I said, when something positive is actually happening to her, like Kevin Frazier looking out for her, she doesn't even realize it because she's so full of hate. Emily, okay, Claire said that she had proof that Brennan was, trying to sleep with her friend or, putting moves on her friend. Honey, I'm still waiting for the proof. I'm still waiting for the damn proof. Like, where is it? I'm still waiting on it. Maybe she'll show it on the Where Are They Now episode. I have no idea. But that was the end of my review. I went through it without being really out of control. So I'm thankful for that. I kept it together. Emily and Claire get under my skin. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I wish nothing but I was going to say, I wish them what they deserve, but I really do wish them the best. I wish everybody on this show, all of them, I wish them the best. I want them to all move on from this, failure of a season, move on to bigger and better things. I hope all of them accomplish whatever the hell they want to accomplish in life. I want them all to move on. I don't want to see them ever again. I know I'm going to have to see them with next week's Where Are They Now episode. After that, I don't want to see them ever again. I think Emily and Claire need to take a break from television, take a break from social media. Let the public forget how horrible y'all really were before you start making, public appearances again. Let us forget, how you completely, double-handedly destroyed this entire season of Married at First Sight because y'all were not willing to be upfront and honest, and y'all were so vengeful and so trying to get back at people, whatever y'all were trying to do. Give us time to forget it. What Austin and Brennan did, I think, was bad, trying to be fake on camera because they were so concerned about their image, trying to get their wives to lie about certain situations so that they can preserve their image. That was horrible what they did, but that was completely overshadowed by the vengefulness of Claire and Emily. Completely overshadowed. And I'm saying Claire and Emily because I really don't include Becca in this bunch. I think Becca got sucked in. I think she definitely got sucked into it. But I think Becca was more of a victim of her marriage than Claire and Emily. Emily was a victim to a point. Okay. She was a victim to a point when she completely changed when they had gone out to dinner, her and Brennan, after her accident, and after the couples retreat, and they were at dinner together, and I think she was wearing a green dress, and that's when he told her that I don't think you're a positive person, and she ran off into the bathroom to cry. That's when Emily changed. That's when she changed and became very vengeful and hateful, and that's when I really didn't care for her anymore. I've never liked Claire since day one. Never liked her. The only thing that I liked about Claire was that I thought it was really cool that she was a quadruplet. Other than that, I really didn't care for Claire. And I think that she victimized Cameron. I think that Lauren was a victim of her marriage. I think that Becca was a victim of hers, as I said before. The only true villains here, the true villain was Claire, as far as I'm concerned. She was the only true villain. And then she had her sidekick, Emily. And, Brennan, he's no angel. He did his dirt. He really did his dirt in the beginning. But like I said, all of that was overshadowed by the vengefulness and hatefulness of Claire and Emily. And that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Chloe and Michael, they're the only couple that gave us a true Married at First Sight season. If it wasn't for them, it would have been a complete crap show. They're the only ones that took it seriously, that were true to each other, as far as we could tell. They were true to us as far as we could tell. And they're the only ones that really saved it. But their segment or their story was also overshadowed by the nonsense. And it came to a time where they were actually kind of boring, which is sad because they represented what Married at First Sight is really all about. But the drama and all the mess and all of that was a lot more titillating. Whether we liked it or not, it was titillating, and maybe it did bring views. And I'm pretty sure Married at First Sight is going to continue to go downhill after this, because I think all of this mess did bring in the views. Even though a whole bunch of people were like, I will never watch again, I will never watch again, I really do think it brought in the views. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Y'all, we got one more week of Married at First Sight. I hope the Where Are We Now is a 1-part and not a 2-parter. I really, really, really hope it's all going to end next week. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.